What's happening, people? This is Rohit here, and in this podcast episode, I'm going to tell my story, and it's more like a reminiscence for me to talk about my story of commuting by walking from my home in Philadelphia to Rutgers, Camden, and this happened like 2 years before. So for me, it's more like, amazing memories, and why not talk about it in this story kind of podcast? So for me, to have that kind of thing, like an international grad student, I'm new here, I'm trying to explore, learn so many different things. And I was staying in Philadelphia, and I was staying around Temple University. Rutgers Camden is across the river. I have to cross the Benjamin Franklin Bridge. Wow, when I talk about it now, it feels like a big thing. But then the whole walking from my apartment, I have to take first I have to walk for 1 mile, and then I have to take a train from the Temple University station all the way to 8th and Market. From there, I have to take another. First, this is SEPTA train, and then I have to take another train called PATCO, and this connects the downtown of Philadelphia to South Jersey. So I had to take that train and then get off at Rutgers Camden near City Hall station. So for me now, when I talk about it, it feels like a huge thing and all that. It feels like a good memory for me. But back then, as an international student, as I mentioned before, I'm exploring and doing all of this on my own. Slowly by slowly, I wanted to explore so much more that it came to a point where I actually wanted to explore the bridge first. So instead of taking the second train, I took the bridge. So for me, it was more like, oh, look at the skyline, Philadelphia skyline. I'm new here, the US skyline, all of that. And then I'm looking at the skyline, walking, all of that amazing. But after that, it's all about slowly expanding. So instead of one train, canceling one train, you know what, I won't take the other train as well. I still remember that day I was like randomly just taking off from my home as if I'm going to, not fly, but then for me it's more like I'm going to fly off and walk and go to my campus all on my own. First 1 mile, when I reached the train station, I was like, yeah, today is that day. And then I started walking downtown, and it's also early morning for me. So I'm just walking and walking, and it's such a different memory of going through all these areas of downtown when it's night, when it's peak time, and a lot of people are going to be there. It's a very different feeling when you're actually going there early morning hours and all of that, and then walking through a bridge and all of that, and then going to my campus. But I remember while coming back one day, actually I walked to my campus and then came back also on the same day, and that was the day when I got my admission for Rutgers Newark. So I remember that day as well. But all of this, when I told my boss, he didn't like it because he grew up in Philadelphia. It's like, oh, what is all this? Oh, you might get shot, it's not safe and all. That is true from his mindset and all that, but I knew what was the kind of safe routes that I had to take, and then you're trying to explore. For me, it I feel it forms a strong sense of identity that I was able to explore and do stuff on my own. That's what makes me who I am. That kind of Rohventure, when we talk about adventure kind of mindset, having this kind of mindset where I want to explore, I want to learn, I'm so curious, I want to explore every single routes available. And then when I used to go out with other people, I can actually explore and show all these routes. So that's the kind of mindset I had back then. That's the kind of mindset I have right now as well. But just exploring, I'm like, what an experience to actually able to say that I actually did not take two trains. I just walked 5 miles and went to my campus, and then I had work on campus. I had studies on campus, but I did not feel that tired at all. I was still able to carry on. But the kind of energy and the kind of adrenaline rush that I had on those days, I'm like, it's amazing. I cannot describe. But unfortunately, now I cannot do it because of the route confusion. I mean, it's a bit complex because there's so many rivers in between. But back then, when I first came and I was able to do it, and it was more like a bucket list item for me, I'm just happy to say that, what, that's something that I can cross off. But yeah, it's more like a story podcast. Thank you all for watching. See you all in another one. Till then, bye from me.